All right, Peter Alexander, thank you. And joining us now with more insight into why men cheat is sex therapist Ian Kerner and Danine Manette, an infidelity expert and author of Ultimate Betrayal. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
And Danine, as we just saw, the men, at least that we portrayed in this last piece, are all powerful. They're celebrities. They're in the spotlight. So you'd think that they would know that people were watching them. Why did they think they could get away with it?
Well, when you're dealing with celebrities a lot of times and athletes and famous, rich, powerful people, there's a sense of entitlement. There's a feeling that I'm untouchable. Just like Tiger Woods said in his statement a couple of weeks ago, the rules don't apply to me. He didn't think the rules applied to him. So a lot of times they're just feeling as though, usually in life people give them what they want, they get what they need, they don't really have to work real hard for a lot of attention. And so they just, kind of feel entitled a lot of times.
Yeah, and Ian, I know that there isn't an easy answer to this question, but when people at home see these stories, a lot of people just think, why? And maybe maybe the answer to that question is different for every individual, but why did they do it?
I think it is different for every individual, but I think when something is lacking in your relationship at home, when your sex life has changed, when you've been getting angrier at your partner, when you're bored, for a lot of people, when you feel like the emotional connection has started to erode, that's when your relationship becomes vulnerable, and that's when you seek to sort of fill in those holes elsewhere. And so it's really when it starts at home is when the problems begin.
And we should mention women cheat as well.
Oh, yeah.
Do they cheat for the same reasons that you just listed?
Well, I don't really think so. I mean, men are really great at disconnecting sex from emotion. And so that's why a lot of men end up having just one-night stands or these little serial affairs, and they walk away from them, they go home, and they think nothing ever happened. Now, when women become more sexually interested in something, what happens is oxytocin, a cuddle hormone, an emotion hormone, sort of starts to release itself. So women are much more likely to cheat with someone to whom they have an emotional connection. So usually, by the time a woman has cheated, she's already given up on the marriage and has walked out the door.
That's interesting. And Danine, I think a lot of times cheaters, it seems, at least with what we see in terms of responses from these men recently, aren't thinking about the consequences of being caught.
They're not. And there's something I call the X factor, which is the uncalculated risk that cheaters take when they orchestrate these triangles. You have no idea how a person is going to react once they're hurt or in pain, whether it's the spouse or the other woman. In the Steve McNair situation, if Elin did in fact attack Tiger, you just never really know. And cheaters don't really take that into account when they orchestrate these triangles. It can be deadly.
Another question, Ian, I think a lot of people ask, why do some couples make it despite a very public affair and some fall apart?
Yeah, well, for one, look at John Edwards and Elizabeth Edwards. It wasn't just the cheating. It was the line and the line and the line.
And the
lie
denying,
after lie after lie after lie. I have found with people who cheat, when you want to save the relationship and you're totally honest and you're willing to admit everything that happened, so when every text message that came to Tiger gets out into the air, when he could really look at Elin and say, this is everything, and I'm being completely honest, that's when you can really rebuild trust. You look at John Edwards, another lie is probably going to come out sometime soon, but I feel like with Tiger Woods, he has a chance to be completely honest, and that's a foundation to build on.
If not, his mistresses will make sure he is.
Exactly.
All right, Ian Kerner and Danine Manette, thank you both. We appreciate it.